Hello wonderful world, it's Jennifer here at Eureka Astrology and Healing, and today we are talking about the Leo New Moon Astrology Forecast. The Leo New Moon is August 16th, 2023 at 4:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, and of course the Northern Hemisphere. Adjust your clocks accordingly. And as always, take note that this is a broad overall arcing energy forecast. It doesn't say particularly how it's going to affect your chart. It could be very different for you in the fact that it could be in a different house or reacting to different planets. So not all different, but just very different in where it's located within your life areas. So let's get into it. First, the notables. The first notable that I see is I just wanted to kind of take a look at the elemental energy, earth, air, wind, water, fire, as far as where planets are placed and what signs. And we have a lot of fire and we have a lot of earth. So to me, I feel like there's going to be energy of passion, but also a sense of groundedness and a little bit of sense of like sensuality going on here. Both there's the fire of passion and sensuality, but also the touch part of earth, the very senses, right? There's some water, so there's going to be some emotions, but it's not very heavy in the chart. So not to say there will be no feelings, right? But it's going to be a little less like wishy-washy, watery. And then there's no air. So it doesn't mean that there's no air, on the planet, so to speak. It just means there's no planets placed in the air signs at the time, meaning there may be a little less energy with like generating ideas, getting inspiration, communicating, especially because we're very near Mercury going retrograde in Virgo, so the ideas might be kind of going backward and inward and hard to get things out. So keep note of that and don't fight it, just embrace it. The next notable is, of course, that this is a new moon. So the sun and the moon side by side in Leo. So first, overall arcing, we'll get into a little bit more in depth later on in the video. But so play, joy, passion, leadership, entertainment, maybe a little bit of drama, not the Scorpio drama where it's deep and intense, but just like kind of out there. Good time to go see a comedy show if you want. Leo is all about comedy, but just kind of that lighthearted energy. But that being said, there are some hard aspects to this energy because the sun and the moon are very close to Venus. Days before Sun touched upon Venus retrograde. So there's also going to be some reviewing of joy and romance and of relationships potentially. The last notable is that there are a lot of retrograde planets, and that just means planets technically looking like they're backwards in the sky. They're not going backwards, they're actually getting very close to Earth, so to speak, as close as they can get to Earth via their own proxy. And so what does that mean? Well, a lot of reviewing in a lot of areas of your life, depending on where it falls. Not a bad thing. Just be patient. There are going to be more retrogrades to come. Some things are going to go forward, some things are going to go backward. Like I said, Mercury's coming soon. Venus will go direct. There's kind of this flip-flop going on in the fall. And so, it's not full steam ahead like it was in the spring. It's going to be doing a lot of rehashing, and it's okay, go with the flow, right? We can't constantly be going forward all the time. Sometimes we need to stop, pause, review, fix things maybe that weren't working, or release things that weren't working, and then, things will get to go forward. So just kind of embrace that and know that it's been happening. And as I looked at this chart, I think they call it like a spray chart where planets are kind of, there are planets clumped together, but things are kind of spread out. They're not all just chunked into one area here or there. And, for me, it was a little, I don't want to say like sporadic, but the chart has a lot of dynamic energy. And so I feel like on this day, and of course around these days, the chart continues to be very spread out like that. And so I feel like we ourselves might be feeling like our energy is a little bit spread here and there, and there's going to be lots of different focal points. And I saw at least two main focal points in the chart, but there's many aspects to these two focal points. And the first one is that there's a kite in the sky. It's an aspect. It's a harmonious aspect, and the planets that are involved are Neptune, Pluto, Mars, and I'm trying to see, there's one more planet going on here. I think it's Jupiter. Nope, it's Uranus, actually. Uranus. If I did not say Uranus already. Uranus, Pluto, why? Anyway, I'm going to stop there. I have it all written down and I'm looking at it. There's too many things going on, just like the chart, right? I kind of got a little disorientated there. Point being, Neptune. Maybe I didn't say Neptune. If I didn't, well, I did. Anyway, so this is actually a harmonious aspect. And with this, I see like there's this great opportunity because all the energies of this kite makes the kite points down like to where, you know, the tail would go, is going towards Mars in Virgo, and Mercury's right there next to it. And so like all this energy is going towards us, like reviewing information and details on how we're getting things done. Now it's going to be very important where it falls into your chart, particularly because that's where you're going to be reviewing your information or the way you're getting things done and the way you're building and getting the details put together for whatever's happening in that area of your life. So this is a good thing, like I said, especially because Mercury's about to go retrograde. But the reason I think we're kind of going over this is because we're being asked to eliminate the old things, eliminate, you know, anything that like in that foundation that was just crusty and old that didn't work. Get rid of it because it's going to be positive. It's going to open up ways for us to be open to our dream and the dreams we're getting that we want to be putting forward into the future. And so by getting rid of that, the old pieces, the rotten pieces, the foundation, it allows our dream to come in, and then that allows us to bring in new ways of success and wealth and how we value ourselves. And like I said, though, it's all kind of pointing though to starting to do that the reassessment. And with those retrogrades, again, another great time to do it. So start that chain of action where you can review and release so that the new can come in, because it's going to be prosperous if you're working in those positive energies. And where Mars is placed, there's a certain degree and like some meaning behind it, and it's that we might be doing it against society's norms or the social standard. So if you're kind of feeling new things coming through that aren't I don't want to say socially acceptable. That's not, I shouldn't say socially acceptable, but like more of what the gold standard is. Or like this is how it's always been done. Especially with Virgo. Virgo is about how things are always done, but this is the time to break free from that, because usually when we bring out our uniqueness and we express ourselves, Leo, right? If we do it authentically, it's usually only us that can do it in that way, and then that brings us forward into ourselves, our confidence, Leo, but then also success, because people see like, oh, you're unique and you're bringing this unique thing to the table. So it may be against the grain, but it's okay. Or like I said, not in the status quo. It's maybe part of your success here. The other focal point that I saw here, of course, is the new moon. So we talked about so in the new moon, always the moon and the sun are together, side by side, happy as clams. And it's a young moon, remember, it's not a moon that's Leo hasn't gone through all the phases yet, so it's very childlike. So there might be, you know, on a positive note, you can be very whimsical and childlike and have fun. Try and utilize it as fun and joy and play. Try not to be too childish, wherever that may be in your chart. What's important about this is that days before this, on the 13th, Venus and the sun are conjunct, and then the moon is actually a few hours before on the 16th, and Venus is retrograde, so it gives a different flavor, right? Venus is like, pleasure and desire, and like, if it was going forward, I would say we'd be just like gun-ho and happy, and like the relationships would be, just this joyous thing. And I'm not saying that relationships aren't going to be a joyous thing, but that retrograde gives it a different flavor, and it has aspects to Uranus today. So like Uranus and Taurus, unexpected things that change. It's like, oh, this needs to change. Like, you want to have your fun and games like Leo, but what's going on here, especially potentially in relationships, because Venus often brings desire, but also desire to be like connected with another as well. Fidelity also may be something that comes up because of the degree that the conjunction of the sun and the moon the sun and Venus were a few days before. So it's all kind of bringing back into relationships. And so we're kind of being asked to be courageous to look at these things, look and dig into what's working and what's not. And is there joy in your relationship? Is there play? Is there fun? Is there, you can say even leadership, being kind of like present in there and kind of help showing the way? Think about it. It's a good time to review it. because Venus is going to be retrograde for a while longer in Leo, and it will move forward finally in September, but it's still going to be going over some of these degrees. The other thing is kind of that hit me, and it's like, you know, Leo, leadership, like what kind of leadership is this? And as I think of all the things that are kind of weighing on society right now, many societies, just the world as a whole, it's like it takes courage and it takes a leader to find joy and play and fun on the day-to-day and laughter when you kind of look out into the world, like, you know, the more social media world and the bigger picture, and go, this seems horrible. What the heck is going on? You know, the world is burning. You know, there's heat everywhere. You know, there's, I mean, you name it. Like, there's a million things going on that could be looked at and focused on and just like make us want to put our head in the sand. But try to be a leader for those around you. If you see people are starting to get in the muck, I mean, you can't change how they feel, but like show them what it looks like to find joy on the day-to-day, not denying what's happening in the world, but realizing there's also joy and to be had in this world beyond. So what can we do? We can try to practice joy day to day on small things. Maybe go to a comedy show, especially around this new moon. Tell a joke. Just, you know, get bubbles and blow, you know, like just blow them in the air. Just do something a little bit childlike and whimsical in a safe way, just to kind of call that in. Of course, you can do many other things, but call it in. And this moon is actually called the Sun Child Moon from Raven Caldere's Moon Phase Astrology. And it kind of exemplifies, it's a time to be out there, to be seen, to be charismatic. Like if you're trying to get out there, this is a good time for that. I mean, there are some tense aspects, like you might get out there and then with that tension in Taurus, the Uranus and Taurus, something unexpected might happen with that. Hopefully good, you know, but it is tension, so be cautious as you proceed with the things that you're doing. But still, I mean, overall to me, I feel like it's a good time to do those solar things and be seen. But also, like I said, if you let your gifts be seen, like this could be really potentially, you know, abundant, like starting something of abundance, in my opinion, because of the aspects of Taurus. Even though they're harsh, I have this feeling it's like maybe you have to break some of these rules and do unexpected things to kind of get there. And if you're going to be doing new moon rituals, I mean, there's so many things that you can do. But with Leo, again, you could start a creative project. There is some tenuous aspects in the chart, but it's definitely going to be fixed. So, you know, it might be a good time to really start those projects. Honor your solar energy, whatever that is. Go lay out in the sun. Just hold your hand to your solar plexus. Hang out with cats. Leo is the lion. Do something where your talent is seen specifically. You know, like I said, good time to do some stand-up comedy if you want to try your hand at it and just try and have fun with it. And it's also a good time, in my opinion, to call in healthy relationships where you express yourself. You get to express yourself in a healthy way, where you get to value yourself, and also where you get your needs met and you call in your needs. There's just a lot of focus around relationships and what's going on within them, especially with partners, intimate partners. So it's an opportunity. It may seem a little challenging at times, but it's well worth the work because these energies don't go away. If there's tension in a relationship, this is gonna potentially, where it's falling in your chart, really highlight it. And maybe not so much now, but the tension just doesn't go away. It kind of subsides, but eventually it needs to kind of come to the surface, and Uranus usually helps with that. I mean, where and when depends on your chart, but it remains to be seen. So sometimes it's good to use astrology to go with the flow of the energy. Like, even you're like, oh, I don't want to review this is hard, or I don't want to let things go, but it's like, actually the universe is giving you an opportunity to release, to let go, so that it's not so hard. Like maybe when you know energies are moving forward, but all of a sudden you have to go, say, backwards, right, and redo things when everything else is moving forward. Just something to think about. With that, I'm Jennifer at Eureka Astrology and Healing. I hope you liked the video. If you do, hit like, subscribe, and check out my website, Eureka Astrology and Healing. May the stars guide you and the plants ground you. Ciao for now.